Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her by 10 Forward number 38.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Happy Independence Day!
It is Independence Day, the only one, because they didn't make a regrettable legacy sequel.
Oh, I thought you meant the only Independence Day in the world because it's only American. This will be our Independence Day!
I was just going to say, after this movie, actually, it's all of our Independence Day.
But God bless those Americans for saving our British asses.
Seriously.
Seriously. Oh, thank God. The Americans have... Oh, we're getting ahead now.
Yeah, we'll get to that, because I definitely wanted to bring up that silly little moment.
I thought that was really stupid.
It is funny, though, because, of course, there's that thing that points out that the majority of the world's Independence Day holidays are explicitly independence from Great Britain.
Yep.
Anyway, yes.
What a bunch of dicks.
Yes, we are looking at 1996's Independence Day, starring Brent Spiner, a bunch of other folks, and directed...
I wouldn't say starring Brent Spiner.
I would. He was great in this.
Featuring Brent Spiner.
And directed by Roland Emmerich, who himself is actually German. And not just like German-American, like properly German, which makes that like big patriotic boner moment at the end even funnier.
He has had like legit Spetzel, this guy.
Yeah. And he had this very brief moment in the late 90s and early 2000s where he was going to be like the new Irwin Allen.
I don't know who that is.
He was the man behind like a bunch of 60s TV shows, including Lost in Space, but also did a bunch of disaster movies. Like I want to say he was the original Poseidon Adventure. He was the Towering Inferno. So very, very similar film vibe. His shows were very different. He did like the Time Tunnel again in Lost Space, Land of the Giants.
I know that you're talking about movies that he's directed, but I kind of feel like all that shit that you just said about him, like the original this, the that, it feels like how you would introduce a boxer, like the original Poseidon Adventure.
Oh, I was hoping they were rides at Disney or something.
I mean,
let's
to be
get
fair,
ready to rumble.
Roland Emmerich did kind of become like the disaster movie guy.
Well, so I thought that, but
for a long time.
I looked him up. He only actually did like this, 2012 and Day After Tomorrow. I thought there were more for some reason.
2012.
Day After Tomorrow. That's some trash.
I haven't seen either of them, but 2012 just annoys me on principle.
I haven't seen it, but a coworker recently was espousing its virtues as like an incredibly fun, awful movie. Like he's like,
okay, I'll give it that.
Yeah. Like
it's fun to laugh at
because it's so bad.
It's so bad.
We're not talking about that one. We are talking about
one day
1996's Independence Day, starring, as I said, Brent Spiner, Will Smith, the movie that really just started to turn him from not just a big TV guy, but I think this is his first really big film role. We got Bill Pullman.
Oh, yay!
Jeffrey Goldblum, Judd Hirsch.
Mary McDonnell.
Is that the woman from Battlestar?
President Rosalind. We love her.
I was about to say I couldn't remember her real name. I was about to say the president from Battlestar.
I kept expecting her to be president in this, and then I realized it's Bill Pullman, who's also great.
Fucking Randy Quaid.
Good God, as himself.
Yeah, who has just never broken character. That is how method he is. Fucking who else? Like it's a ton of people.
Vivica A. Fox.
Yeah, Vivica A. Fox. Harvey Fierstein.
Who was the guy that shoots the Diet Coke can?
That
Adam
is
Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin. Yes, thank you. I had to bring him up.
Oh my
Firefly.
God, that's why he looked familiar.
From Firefly. Yeah, it's so funny. Like at the time, sort of the big like sort of science fiction representation was
Brent Spiner.
Depending on how serious you
Bill
consider.
Pullman.
I was saying, considering how much you consider Spaceballs to be science fiction.
It is canon in the Star Wars universe.
I consider it perfect science fiction parody.
But since then they have added President Rosalind and Jane and so that's what I asked in the chat. Did anyone notice Brent Spiner's assistant in the operating room?
No.
The answer is no all around, Chris.
Well, the only one that replied to the chat was Caitlin, so I wasn't sure.
And also, like, the readers don't see our chats. They don't know.
No, I know, but I was asking you guys
And Jake
first.
doesn't read the chat.
I was telling Ames.
Well,
the readers don't see our chat.
Our little friend, the psychotic hologram / blood collector from Carpenter Street.
Oh, shit, really?
You see his face for like 2 seconds. He has one line, and I went, I know that fucking voice. I know that little Weasley face. And I looked him up. It is, in fact, him.
Oh, wow, good for him.
I still don't know who we're talking about.
I still don't know who we're talking about, but good for him anyway.
No, the guy...
I mean, in this movie or otherwise. Go ahead, Chris, I'm sorry.
The guy from Carpenter Street.
No, I know who you're talking about. I do not. I don't know what character in the movie you're talking about.
Ames, it's not all about you. I don't know who it is.
Caitlin doesn't know at all.
Oh, well, that's fine.
The guy who played the... He played the hologram in Voyager that befriended the Doctor, but then turned out to be
like hate human
homicidal.
beings?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
guy.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
Honestly though, I get it.
But yeah, he's there for like a split second right before they start operating on the alien that Will Smith brought.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a hologram and an android walk into Area 51, and
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was also a brief moment in this film when Will Smith's character is trying to get into Area 51 and the guard stops him.
Yep.
So the guard was, I don't know the actor's name, but he plays a character, a kind of a recurring character in Stargate SG-1.
Really?
Sweet.
Of Kowalski. Which is interesting because
I feel like I should know which one that is, but I don't.
He's only in a handful of, he's basically he was a member of sort of SG-1, but not. He was just
Is he around more when Jackson's gone for a season?
No.
Damn it. Okay, I don't know who we're talking about then.
But anywho, so that actor, he played him in the show. The character is also in the 1994 Stargate film, written and directed by Roland Emmerich.
Yeah, I only found this out last night.
But played by a totally different actor.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So it's the same character from the movie, but a different actor. But the actor from the show is in this other Roland Emmerich movie.
Oh, we have one more good one, because we have Eric Avari, who is, God, he's fucking everything. He...
Also in Stargate.
If you need an Indian American actor, he's the guy you get. He was one of the guys in,
yes, The Mummy. Yes.
He was in The Mummy.
Yeah.
He was in some DS9 as a Bajoran something or other.
He's one of the shale people in Enterprise.
He was like a really pious Vedic guy or something.
Yeah.
Right, he and Kira have lots of conversations about bullshit, don't they?
I don't remember.
I'm sure they do.
But yeah, and like I said, he's also in an Enterprise.
Yeah, you're right. That wasn't exactly a risky question, was it? Oh yeah, don't he and Kira, I don't know, worship the same gods?
But yes, I remember, because Caitlin was watching. It's like, wait, is that the guy from The Mummy? And I was like, oh yeah, it is.
He was also in that Enterprise episode where they went to the
Yes,
failed
I said that.
Earth
He's
colony.
one of the shale people.
Yeah, okay, I didn't realize that's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
It's a smorgasbord of cool guys.
Yeah, we've
and
talked
also
so
some
much
legitimately cool people.
About the cast. We haven't actually done the summary, but I'm sure if you're listening, you probably have seen Independence Day. Aliens invade, blow up all of our landmarks, just
some
like
great models of landmarks.
Yep, the Omicronians came along with their landmark destroying lasers, and then everyone gets back together. Jeff Goldblum hacks the planet, and they blow him up.
Yeah, this is a movie of, it doesn't take long to get to New York, or to get from New York to DC. It doesn't take long to get from fucking Los Angeles to Area 51. It takes about 10 minutes wherever you're going.
To be fair, I would say the New York to DC trip, if you don't include traffic, which they really fucked up on the leaving New York scene, because they're just driving down the highway and it's like, I don't think, like, the highways are gonna be fucking jammed, bro.
Like at the end of the trip when they're going into DC and they're the only car going into it, that made sense.
Yeah, that was realistic. But yeah, leaving New York didn't make a lot of sense.
No.
But like in terms of time, I think it actually does kind of work because Jeff Goldblum's character is like, okay, we have
6 hours.
6 hours. And by the time they get to DC, they're like, okay, we have 2 hours.
28 minutes.
Or 28 minutes or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't
that
seem all that
work.
Unrealistic.
Wait, 6 hours from New York to DC? Is that what you're saying? No, are you kidding me? It'd be way more than that.
from New York City to Washington. No way. No.
All right, I'm gonna fucking give me a minute.
Probably about,
Google
it's
Map
probably
that
about
shit.
9
Leave
hours
me alone.
from
Leave me
here
alone
to
with
DC.
Google Maps real
But
quick.
add apocalypse traffic.
Right. That's the thing that they
Well,
didn't
that's the thing.
count.
The getting out of New York is then balanced out by the getting into Washington.
I'm going to say it's
You don't go
probably
faster, though.
with normal traffic. I'm going to say it's probably 4.5 to 5 hours between New York and DC.
According
Oh my
to Google,
God.
right now,
Wait a
4
minute.
hours, 8 minutes. But it is a Sunday.
Wow, yeah, 4 hours and 17 minutes, I see. Well, all right, fine. I stand corrected. And that does account for an hour and 40 minutes of apocalypse traffic or
Yeah.
so.
There would be 5 hours of apocalypse
Oh, no,
traffic.
I know.
Like when Jeff Goldblum's little friend character is trying to leave New York, and he's gotten, a block away in 6
But
hours.
But he's also driving towards the Empire State Building, right? Because
Why is he doing that?
That's right. That's what I don't understand. He's not actually leaving. He must be trying to get to his lawyer's office to warn him or something. I don't know.
No, he decided not to warn his lawyer.
Yeah, but I think he changed his mind. He was like on his way out of the city, and he's like, I should do it.
He should just call him then.
I
love
phone lines are
Harvey
almost...
Firestein. I wish that he was in more movies. Or more now, that voice. I just love him.
And that's really what he is.
Why
though,
did
right?
I
Like,
just tell my mother to leave?
That's basically him.
Caitlin just
And that's probably
destroyed
why
her
he isn't
larynx.
in more movies, because you're getting that voice.
That's
when
what
you
I
put him in
want.
a
I
movie.
want it in everything.
He was the victim in an episode of Murder, She Wrote once with that
Whoopsie.
voice. So yeah, that's the one thing is like, I was going into this and I was just like, oh man, I remember really liking this as a kid, but I haven't seen it in like probably 20 years. I'm like, is it going to have aged into a kind of dumb fun I don't enjoy? And it turns out, no, it did not. I forgot how fucking stupidly fun this is.
It is very
But the
fun.
one thing that
extremely
does not work as an
Very
adult isn't just how quick it is to get places, Jake, but I'm sitting there thinking, I'm sorry. You're telling me Will Smith got from the middle of Nevada to Los Angeles and back on one tank of gas and a helicopter?
I
Yeah,
said
had
the
same
same
thought.
thing.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Yeah,
Well,
not
is-
just that, but like that would take a long fucking time.
Yeah, helicopters are not fast.
Yeah.
guys, don't underestimate the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Maybe he took a different form of transportation back, because we didn't see him get back in the helicopter. Maybe
took that
transport.
He took that truck that Vivica Fox knows how to drive, even though it's the kind of big-ass truck that has, like, half gears, I think. So, like...
Was
I'm
Vivica-
sorry. Jasmine is a rock star. She
I was
can do
gonna say,
whatever she wants.
Vivica Fox was Jasmine, right?
Look, you
Yeah.
can be a
Yeah.
rock star all you want. That takes special training.
Maybe she's got it.
Maybe she's got a CDL and
Maybe she left truck driving to be a stripper.
Probably
Yeah,
better
she
money.
is a super stripper who can
Probably
save lives. So
less
she can do
horrible
this.
work.
And can breathe in little closets that have had all the air sucked out by a fire.
and also just completely filled with fire.
Well,
like
yes,
there's
yes.
no way would that door
No,
open?
the fire went by.
the fire's like going through the tunnel, and the fire's like, should we go in there? Nah, let's just keep going. There's not going to be anybody in that little closet.
But
Let's keep going.
That's the thing. Like, the obvious issue aside, someone else once pointed out, like, even if it did somehow just magically only go straight, it would have sucked all the oxygen out of that space and they would have suffocated.
Yeah, and that dog was not surviving. Because, like, did you also notice how fucking slow moving the explosion was at that point? Like, it leveled New York in, 20 seconds, but it was passing, it took about a minute to go
Yeah.
from the start of
Yeah.
that tunnel to the point where that door was. Meanwhile,
Everyone's
Vivica
cleared
Fox is
out.
able to outrun it while carrying a child.
Yeah.
And calling
yeah.
for a dog.
Listen,
And also, like,
don't mess with her.
knocking down a door.
Don't mess with Mama Bear, you know?
Yeah, that scene might be the cheesiest one in the movie of
Yeah.
dog leaping in front of explosion just in time, but every single time it still gets me of, oh, thank God the dog's okay. Go, dog, go.
But yes, it also is, again, as far as moments that, like, as an adult, you're like, oh, do come on.
But I still love
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah. Is as Jake pointed out, the Americans, they want to launch a counterattack. It's about bloody time. Like, everyone's just been waiting for us to come up with something.
I don't know. Where's the lie? No, not everybody. England was waiting for us.
Yeah.
That
Did you-
tracks.
Did you notice how, like, they subtly dropped a, there's peace in the Middle East over this
Yeah,
thing, when
yeah.
they had, like,
Oh my.
the Israeli flag, and I didn't
Palestinian.
recognize the flag, but I saw the colors. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
I
actually,
did read that this movie is banned in Lebanon because of that.
Oh, was it a Lebanese flag?
Maybe.
No, it was just for insinuating that Israelis and Muslims might get along. They're very opposed to that.
Calm down, Lebanon. Well, the other, honestly, even the funnier part is all of them deferring to the fucking British, who like caused so much of the issue there by partitioning the area
celebrate
the
our
way
independence
they did.
from you.
Yeah.
Stop it.
The most unbelievable part, though, is that in the background you can see a plane with the French flag on it, and there's no way the French and the English are gonna.
Oh, I thought you
chum
meant
up.
the French doing anything other than running away.
Ah.
Speaking of which, I feel like I think the thing that this movie really succeeds, or one of the things I think this movie really succeeds in, is the visual effects. Or they're not even visual effects; they're special effects. They're practicals.
Yeah.
All the the blowing up of the White House and the Empire State Building. I mean, those explosions look really good.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
it's
one
probably
won an
they were
Academy Award
miniatures.
for it.
Oh, absolutely. Practical's gonna win, especially after, whatever, it's been almost 30 years every time.
I think today you could probably do it and have as good, if not better.
But it's CGI today.
CG.
I don't know.
But
Remember how bad Snoke looked in the first new Star Wars movie?
If you give the animators time, it'll look good. The problem is a lot of studios are now rushing the animators, which is why somehow, despite it being so much more powerful computing-wise, CG has begun to look a lot worse.
Everything just looks like hoodwinked again.
Yeah,
but it does. But I don't know. I think this movie looks really good.
It does.
The CG that was in this movie was kind of jank, but it wasn't like there was an alien at one point that was CG'd and it didn't look great. The puppets looked good.
The puppets looked great.
The CG alien was not the best, but again, this was from that period of time where they knew the CG was bad, so
they did models.
They used it very sparingly and used models or puppets for the rest.
I have a great datum here, and that's that this movie holds the record for most miniature model work in one film.
Wow.
Because after this, they switched to CGI, so they basically say, like, because they don't do this anymore, this record will probably stand forever. Because I guess the number that they have is over 3,000 special effects shots, mostly practical, and it's more than twice any other movie that has models, which is just wild.
Well, like, because it's not just like, there's the big showpiece of, the Empire State Building and the White House blowing up. But then they also, I was surprised at how much destruction, like, B-roll they had.
Yeah, so many buildings.
Like, taking down buildings.
Throwing cars in the air.
Good. I'm pretty sure that the way they did the fire rushing up streets is that they built scale models of the city and then put them on their sides because fire goes up and just filmed it that way.
That's crazy.
I know I saw a making of documentary, back when this movie came out. So I remember, I was 11 or something. I do remember one of the things from it was the explosion of the Empire State Building. It was on its side and they were filming down at it. So so that the explosion would like appear to come. They didn't want the explosion to like
go down.
They wanted it to come out.
That's so cool.
So they filmed it on its side, and that's how they did that.
It all looks so good.
That is one of those things that, again, having not seen this in a very, very long time, and I apologize in advance for bringing us down briefly, but they show the skyline and there's the Twin Towers, and I'm just like, oh, right. And it's like, wow, really good he decided to use the Empire State Building, because he totally could have done the towers.
Although there is, that shot of the devastation, and the Twin Towers are like visible but devastated.
Yeah.
But not as devastated as real 9/11. So.
That's awkward. But yeah, no, it's...
Are you telling me that fucking George Ehrlich, whatever the fuck his name is, he did 9/11?
Roland
Also,
Emmerich.
I'd want to point something out. Speaking of conspiracy theories, when Jeff Goldblum got into the helicopter leaving the White House, he opens his laptop to check how much time they have, and they have 9 minutes 11 seconds.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Is that true? Oh my god, he did. He did 9/11.
I noticed.
If Stanley Kubrick like left like secrets about how he planned the moon landing or faked the moon landing in the fucking Shining, this is definitely proof. It was that director. He did it.
And I also wonder how then it took almost 10 minutes for the second helicopter to take off.
I remember it's like, wait a minute.
Like they were right there.
Yeah, I had to stop and get a Dippin' Dots or
I was
something.
gonna say somebody had to pee, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't. The view that what's his name? What's the director's name?
Roland Emmerich.
The view that Roland Emmerich did 9/11 is not the view of this podcast, anyone on this podcast, or any sane person.
Because back in 1996, I'm sure the 911 was a 911 reference.
Oh yeah, that's a good point too. Damn.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was a reference. I just think
I bet
it was a coincidence.
No, I bet it was, because they put a lot of goofy little Easter eggs in here, I felt. Did anybody else feel that they had some Easter eggs?
Aside from Hell, I didn't really catch anything.
Oh yeah, Hell was good. I mean, I enjoyed the virus that had very like Jurassic Park vibes to it. Like, more like a ha ha ha.
What was funny is at one point the son, Vivica Fox's son, I didn't catch his name.
Was it like Dylan or something? Yeah,
sure. It's the 90s. It was probably Dylan. He's playing
Dylan,
with
yes, you're right.
Oh, wow.
It is, hey!
He's playing with a Ghidorah action figure briefly at one point. And Emmerich would direct the terrible 90s American Godzilla. And I tried to figure out the timeline, like if there's a chance he would have known at that point he was going to be doing it when he put that in, but it might not quite line up. It might be an astounding coincidence.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, especially if maybe he was vying to do the Godzilla film and, using...
Maybe. Basically,
hey, I did Independence Day, which was hugely popular.
Or maybe the Godzilla people saw that and said, this guy must like Godzilla.
Well, there you go. So the thing is, he apparently got the nod in 96, which is when this came out. So it's like, it probably didn't line up. Yeah. Oh, speaking of the virus, though.
Yeah.
That's the one thing a lot of people like, come on, how is it possibly?
How is it possible? Tell me, Chris.
So this is something I either read online or that Jake said off air once we were talking about this movie. So, Jake, I might be stealing your own theory. But the thing that might make it make sense, if we assume they reverse engineered a lot of stuff from the alien tech, then it is entirely possible that the OS that Goldblum is using is actually quite similar to the alien computer system, and that's why they're compatible.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's been a long time critique of this film. It's like, oh, there's no way you could write a computer virus for an alien computer, on your MacBook. But I like that headcanon.
Well, in which case it probably should have been one of the Area 51 scientists who knows this thing.
Well, see, Jeff
Goldblum is just that good.
The whole point is that Jeff Goldblum is like a computer genius. He's just, his potential is wasted at the cable company.
He likes working at the cable company.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. Surely not.
It does look fun. He gets to hang out with Harvey Fierstein. And what's the problem here?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
You know what pissed me off the most about this movie? When before they leave New York and it's just Goldblum and Fierstein in the offices.
Yeah.
And they're having a discussion, and then Bill Pullman comes on the TV. And the whole wall of TVs switches to Bill Pullman, which you can understand because they'd probably be broadcasting it on every channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what's really silly to me is that it's a wall of individual TVs, but the three there's like a 9x3 section of TVs in the middle that turn into three 3x3 sections of TVs that are each playing a really blown up version. Like, that takes fucking technology. Like, you TVs don't just switch to, mosaic mode if the president's on. Like, it makes no fucking sense. Well, it's fucking stupid, and this movie is trash, and we should throw it out.
Oh, no!
Jeff Goldblum is a genius. Jeff Goldblum probably set that up.
Yeah, he's like, if president equals on, set TV's mosaic.
Exactly. That's it. Perfect. See, Jake, it's not impossible. You just did it.
I just invented computers.
Do you think...
and the internet, like Al Gore.
Do you think Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith bonded over how long it took them to notice that aliens were invading?
Yeah.
Like, both their characters were like the last people on Earth to find out.
I see what you're talking about.
Because, like,
I thought you were referencing other movies, like you usually do.
No, sorry.
Jeff Goldblum was at least already on his way to DC by the time, like, Will Smith woke up and found out,
Well, to be fair, Will
ahead.
Smith was 3 hours. Yeah, exactly. So Will Smith. So Jeff Goldblum did have a head start.
And, like, clearly him and Vivica had been up till like 3 a.m. having crazy sex.
Mm-hmm. As you do.
Well, if you were sleeping with Vivica, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying they woke up very late, and we all know why.
So
I assumed it was because they had an annoying kid, but
no, he was in his bedroom with a Nintendo up very loud.
if I'm going to make any major critique of this movie, it's that the melodrama is a bit much at times. In fact, like
the dog leaping through the door kind of shit?
Well, the dog leaping through the door, Jimmy getting blowed up. I mean, it's fine that Jimmy got blowed up, but like...
It wasn't that. I didn't think that was that bad. And honestly, after he was like, "You can't marry a stripper," I was like, "Good. I'm glad you're dead, Jimmy. You prick."
Well, I mean, being fair.
Well, I don't think he liked Jasmine. He just knows that Will wants to be in NASA, and he's like, NASA's not going to consider a dude that's married to a stripper, which is a bit weird, I guess. But
honestly, though,
why would NASA even know that he's married to a stripper?
They know everything.
Well, the thing is, because astronauts do wind up in the news, so like. I could honestly, it seems weird, but I could totally see a government agency being like, this guy is going to be on the news. We can't have him. Like, it's a wrong-headed and stupid opinion, but I could totally see NASA thinking something like that.
Well, I don't care. He's not a good friend. He shouldn't have said that shit. I'm glad he died.
Wow.
But like, I
said, Chris.
The worst offender to me of pointless melodrama in this movie is the entire existence and plot line of the First Lady.
Oh man.
Because
wasted.
She doesn't do a goddamn thing other than die.
Make the president feel bad.
But it doesn't have any bearing on what the president does. Like it's not like he was emboldened by, okay, now we got to get him. They didn't play that moment up at all for
I wasn't even sure she was dead. They were kissing and then he wasn't in the room anymore. They said it was
implied.
Yeah, it was implied 6 scenes later when they were like, sorry about your dead wife. And he was like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I think, there were a lot of like, Jimmy and Harvey Fierstein and the wife. It was like each of our sort of major characters had to lose someone, and it was like.
Who did Jeff Goldblum lose?
Harvey Fierstein.
Harvey died?
He blew up.
He blew up. He was stuck in traffic.
I missed it. That's very sad. Oh no.
Okay, my favorite friend who died. My favorite friend who died was the one who decides to go up on the LA building to meet the aliens.
After she promised.
That dumb bitch. I love her.
You feel bad about the others. Her, you're like, you stupid fuck. You deserve that. That's the worst part, too, is like, Harvey Fierstein doesn't just die. It's like played for laughs.
Oh, well, that's because Harvey Fierstein is played for laughs. I mean, in general, also in this movie. But, he sounds like that. What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
what were you were gonna try to get like a dramatic, oh my god. Like
that's the kind of fascinating thing about this movie, as it is this kind of thriller, suspense, sci-fi amalgamation thing with lots of explosions. It also has so many little comedy moments that I kept seeing scenes and thinking, I thought that was in Mars Attacks. Like the girl going up the building and saying, save me aliens with her sign. Nope. I was like, I thought in my brain this was a Mars Attacks scene, but no, it's this movie. Holy shit. Let's watch Mars Attacks.
Is somewhat of a parody of this in a lot of ways.
Actually, I have a great note on Mars Attacks. Shut up.
Oh my god.
Mars Attacks was supposed to come out at the same time as this movie.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was also...
Did they delay it because of this movie?
They delayed it because of this movie.
This is the same movie we're releasing.
Yeah, because
that's so funny.
I assume that Mars Attacks was a parody of this because they are so similar, but
So Mars Attacks is actually based off of a series of, like, trading cards from the 90s?
That's amazing.
Which was like, sort of
Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks itself being sort of a parody of 50s invasion films, whereas this obviously is sort of like an updated, modernized 50s invasion film. Oh yeah, I guess that was an Easter egg, wasn't it? It was they did show the little clip from Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yep.
I kind of assumed that when Jeff Goldblum said, "Looks like I picked the wrong day to quit drinking," that was an airplane nod. I mean, not that that's a sci-fi movie. That wasn't Jeff Goldblum,
that was Randy Quaid, but I thought the same thing.
Whoever it was, and that's what I thought.
Instead, Jeff Goldblum says, must go faster, which I'm sure is in his writers that he has to always say.
I forgot. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. I thought you were making a Sonic the Hedgehog reference.
No, that's from Jurassic Park.
Yes, I know,
that
but
was like Will Smith gets catchphrases. Jeff Goldblum has to get a catchphrase. Like
Will
everyone
Smith,
gets a catchphrase.
what's Will Smith's catchphrase?
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah, it was.
No, but does he say that in every movie? Oh my God,
No.
does he say that in MIB as well?
Actually, who knows? He might.
But for it to be a catchphrase across multiple, he's not just talking about having a one-liner. Ames is
That's
talking
true.
about having the same line across multiple films.
But I also think that was probably just put in as an Easter egg for
I
Jurassic
wouldn't
Park
even
had
use
not-
audience.
Jurassic Park had not come out yet.
I thought
Yes,
Jurassic
it
Park was
had.
95.
Oh, I thought it was the next year. Fuck me, never mind.
97 was Men in Black.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah,
Might be.
I would half expect that that's maybe even something Goldblum ad-libbed and they said fuck it and kept it in.
There was a lot of ad-libbing in this movie, evidently, because I know, like, they said practically anything between Goldblum and Smith, probably ad-libbed.
Nice.
Almost everything between Goldblum and Judd Hirsch, probably ad-libbed. So it's
Oh
like,
my
did you guys
God.
have a script?
I
Not in those
loved
scenes.
Judd Hirsch as Jeff Goldblum's dad. Like, perfect fucking casting. Absolutely perfection. Like, I could even see the resemblance. You know, I was like, yeah, this really works. And then their relationship is so cute.
It's very
loved
cute.
them so much. Like, Judd Hirsch was possibly my favorite part of this movie.
The amount of fucks he does not give is amazing.
I liked when
His character,
oh,
I mean, not Judd Hirsch. Judd Hirsch is clearly trying.
Oh yeah, I don't. Go ahead, Jake.
You know how some actors, you're like, okay, they never read a script that they didn't like because they're in just
They're
so
in
many
everything?
trash movie- They're in everything. I think with Jeff Goldblum, it's Jeff Goldblum never read a script.
He just shows up on the day. What are we doing
He
today?
just shows up. It's like you've been cast in this movie. His agent like sends him the script. He throws it in the trash. Then he just shows up to film and is perfect.
He was actually supposed to be Harry Connick Jr.'s character, but said, no, I'm the satellite genius instead. And they were like,
Yeah,
sorry, Harry, Jeff has insisted, and they made Harry be Jimmy.
Wait, who's Harry? Oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want Jeff Goldblum to be a dick.
He is a bit of a dick.
No, I know. One of my favorite things about Jeff Goldblum is how he has this great quote where he said, people always ask me, is it pronounced Goldblum or Goldblum? And I always tell them the same thing. How dare you speak to me?
That's good. That's excellent. Good for him.
Which I'm just like, oh my God, please marry me and then divorce me. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's just be us crazy kids.
Yeah, speaking of marrying and divorcing, like, the one thing I really didn't like about the David character is just how much he seems to harp on I thought Connie was having an affair.
That's so
And then
weird.
we had this huge fight and we divorced, and I'm still bitter about it, but I still
Especially
love
because
her.
He seems like such a weird little nerd. It just doesn't feel like the right...
I do feel like the tension that was supposed to be there between him and Pullman was unnecessary and didn't seem to exist and really didn't pay off.
Because you want to love the both of them.
And you
I
do.
would have much preferred if they just had a lot of fuck me, sexual tension. I wish Pullman and Ian Malcolm had sexual
There you go.
tension.
Like I
So
think
that's
Unresolved,
the thing, though, too.
unresolved sexual tension. That's what I was trying to think
Is-
of.
Like they
Damn it.
could have just made it so that the marriage didn't work out because she was career driven and wanted to go and work in the White House, and he was like, no, I'm gonna be a cable guy.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
you know,
they
and
didn't
then
need to
that's
have
like,
that
okay, yeah,
weird...
we can't live in different cities and be together. So
Yeah, that is one thing I think, was an actual nitpick I have this film. Was like that, again, like you said, Jake, it just could have been, when you become fucking press secretary to the president, your life fucking changes in a big, big way, and he couldn't deal.
Yeah, and she would have to drag him, like how, if Will Smith became an astronaut, it would drag Jasmine into the spotlight.
Yeah.
Having her be press secretary would drag Ian Malcolm into the spotlight. Neither of them seem to want that necessarily.
Or at least into...
Ames, I would just say that Jasmine is already very comfortable.
Hey, I liked her.
I
she's
did
good.
too.
I like that she likes dolphins. It's cute.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Oh, that ring
Well,
was an atrocity, though.
It was kind of ugly.
Her earrings were cute.
They were.
Oh, I didn't notice her earrings. Were
She
they
had little dolphin earrings.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
yeah, they
But
made
the
this whole
engagement
point
ring
about
was
how she's got a
disgusting.
thing for dolphins, and then it
She
only
doesn't
came
even
up.
acknowledge it. You know why? Because she was probably like, I can actually see it, okay? It's like this. The only thing Will Smith really knows about her, aside from probably how to make her come, is that she likes
boobs.
dolphins. So every fucking gift has been dolphins. And she's been like, oh, I love dolphins. Oh, you're so thoughtful. And then he shows up with this fucking dolphin-ass wedding ring. And she's like, Jesus fucking Christ. I said one time that I liked dolphins. One time.
But you're
and now
probably
I have to wear this
die
on my finger for the rest of my fucking life.
No, for the rest of his life.
Kidding?
He's about to go die.
You're right, but there's not even any resale value on a ring that ugly. Jesus Christ almighty. I hope he got it out of a Cracker Jack box, because goddamn, what a terrible ring. Anyway, she's like, oh, I said I liked dolphins once, you can remember. I have been slipping pictures into your magazines a la A Christmas Story with the exact engagement ring I've wanted every day for the last 5 years, and this is what you get me. Son of a bitch. Anyway. This is what dating men is. This is what dating men is sometimes,
yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I have family members
harp-
like that too, though.
I have to harp a little more on some of the convenience.
Do
There's
it.
a lot
Please.
of convenience.
Because
It's a fucking action
some of
movie. Of course there is.
Some of it
Yeah.
makes a little bit of sense in the context that they've set up in the film. Okay, Jeff Goldblum going to Washington, D.C. makes sense because his ex-wife is there.
And he doesn't
wants to
call
save her.
anyone else with this countdown. Asshole.
Well, because
Right.
there's
on,
no
Jake.
one else
You
he
think-
could.
Not even that,
and,
but
like-
how many friends do you think he has? Every
None.
time you see him, he's like,
Just Harvey
have I
Feinstein.
mentioned that I miss my wife? And they're just like, Jesus Christ, yes.
And like Randy Quaid going to Area 51 with Will Smith makes sense because they set up that, Randy Quaid's.
Where was that RV caravan going?
I think
Shrug.
they were going from California just
Away?
into the desert.
As
Yeah.
far from any city as
yeah,
possible.
no targets.
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I follow that.
But here's the thing that sucks the most. Okay, oh yeah, and Vivica Fox being at the airbase where Will Smith later finds her in the helicopter makes sense because he told her to go there
Yeah.
at the beginning of the
Yeah.
movie. So that makes sense. It goes back to fucking Laura Rosalind and being and her whole character being totally unnecessary in this film. Just the fact that Vivica Fox in her, little
Yeah.
rescue wagon stumbles upon her crashed helicopter, rescues her when everybody else is everywhere is dead.
Jake,
And
I don't know
it's-
why you continue to resist the argument that Jasmine is just a fucking superhero.
Super
I mean,
stripper. Extreme.
I believe that she's a superhero. I just find that her just stumbling upon the first lady. If they were going to have they should have just had the first lady get killed in the attack. There was no reason for her not to already be dead because she doesn't do anything. There's the moment with Bill Pullman and Egg is fucking wasted.
Little baby Egg. She's so small.
So yeah.
I liked their moment though, because the whole film, you kind of get the impression that they're like want to be together, and getting to have them back together even for a second was nice. Also, I would watch Bill Pullman make out with anybody.
He can get it. What's he doing
Bill
these
fucking
days?
Pullman. Probably just getting old, unfortunately.
Yeah, you do that. I will say, I did like, there was like this one interesting scene between Laura Rosalind and Jasmine. I love that we're not calling most of the actors by their character names, but we are with Jasmine. Okay. Dolphin Girl.
Jasmine is a very memorable name.
That's fair. They have this scene and basically like, oh, well, I didn't know you'd recognize me. And she's like, oh, no, I was going to keep it on the
Who wouldn't
DL.
recognize you?
Because, I didn't vote for you. And that just made me think like, oh, wow. Today, would anyone bother saving the opponent's first lady? No.
Yeah, no.
Holy shit.
Definitely not.
Yeah, you're right. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many moments of, fucking President... I'm trying to think of the
Whitmore.
name from Spaceballs. What's his fucking name?
Scroob.
Scroob.
No, President from this movie.
Oh,
Whitmore.
you said
Bill
Spaceballs.
Pullman.
Yeah, Whitmore.
Whitmore, there's his actual name. He goes into fucking battle in a plane because he's like the president warrior. He's like, oh yeah, I'm bad at being president, but I was great at flying planes, so I'm gonna go fly a plane. It's like, you will never ever in the next many presidents see a president do something hands-on.
No, even if it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
But he looks so great doing it.
But Trump at least would lie to you and say he was going to, you know?
Oh, big time.
He'd be like, yes, I'm going to get in a plane. I can't do a Trump voice. I don't know why I always try, but like listening to him lie about it forever and then not doing it would just be exactly right. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, and I like how they established early in the film that, you know, he's not a well-regarded president, and to do that,
he's better than today's.
They point out that his approval rating is below 40%, and I'm like, have there been a president with an approval rating above 40% in the last 10 years?
Nope, because none of them have saved us from aliens, you know? That would actually give any president a lot of cachet.
Oh, with the people who survive, which is not very many, because Jesus Christ, Whitmore, evacuate the city!
Joe Biden. Yeah, I love Joe Biden. Well, I like Joe Biden fine, and I usually get mad at people that, like, make fun of him for being elderly, but I feel like this would work for either of them. Like, imagine them being like, did you try restarting the Wi-Fi to give the aliens a virus? I'll tell you what. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would just be, like, if this happened today, they would just be trying the Independence Day thing, and their poor staff would have to be like, sir, that's the plot to 1996's Independence Day, and he's like, it worked for them.
It did, yeah.
You did get to a problem that we do have with this movie, Ames. It's just that, like, I feel like they say everybody's name maybe once, so I definitely was just sitting there, and it's like, yeah, it's Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith and Bill Pullman. It's like, it's somebody
Lone
like
Star.
tomorrow.
That was the name I was trying to think of.
Yeah,
Lone Star, yeah,
Lone
that's right.
Star. President Lone Star. Love him.
But that's the thing, and I don't think the film really did try very hard to dissuade you from that.
No, my God, not at all.
It's like you're really just watching Jeff Goldblum save the world. You're not watching.
Oh, yeah, it's Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith, and like that was, and like they realized, was this the first in the series of sequential summer blockbusters starring Will Smith?
Yeah, because 96. This was 96. 97 was Men in Black.
He didn't get a rap in this one.
Would have been Wild
What
Wild
a wasted
West.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Wickedy
Yeah,
Wild
so
Wild.
like that became like the summer blockbuster starring Will Smith was a thing in the 90s.
And this kind of kicked it off.
Yeah.
Like this was more of an ensemble piece, but it established him. And then Men in Black was kind of a vehicle mostly for him, and then obviously Tommy Lee Jones as well, but the marketing leaned on Smith and really made him like Big Johnny Summer.
I feel like I always thought that this was just a Will Smith vehicle. And I don't know if it's because I mean, obviously I never saw it, so, like, I don't know if it's because of that association with him being the King of Summer, or, like, if it's because of the advertising, but, like, I didn't even realize until, Chris, yesterday, that Jeff Goldblum was in this movie.
Oh, snap.
I had no idea. You guys maybe even have said it, and I didn't think, like, I don't know, like, just didn't, like, retain the information, but, like, I had no fucking clue. I didn't know about Jeff Pullman. Bill Pullman. I don't think I knew about anybody in this film except Will Smith.
Yeah, I think it's sort of retroactively because of Men in Black and all that. People think
because he became such a huge movie star.
Well, and because his next big hit was also Aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear some alternate casting?
Ooh,
yes.
Yes, I bet a lot of it's terrible.
Some of it, yeah, some of it I'd be kind of interested in. So I know that the role of Captain Hiller, who was, the Will Smith character, originally offered to Ethan Hawke, but he turned it down because he thought the script was terrible.
That wouldn't have worked.
That's because it was, to be fair, only half of the script that we got was actually written.
That's true.
Yeah.
The other half was made up.
What is this TBD section?
Also, like, I mean, I'm sure the character would have been entirely different.
Yeah.
Because like, Will Smith has that swagger about him.
Yeah, this
in
presence.
This.
Ethan Hawke has pretty and not much else.
Yeah, I don't see, as much as I like Ethan Hawke, and I think he's a good actor, I don't see him.
He's too serious for this.
Yeah, exactly. You need
besides,
that sort of swagger.
Jeff Goldblum is already there to be pretty. So you can't have double pretty. And no one's going to out pretty Jeff Goldblum.
I know that our friend Jimmy Wilder, Harry Connick Jr., was originally going to be Matthew Perry, but he had to step away, and I didn't read why. So Harry Connick Jr. stepped in.
If it had been Matthew Perry, I would have been very upset about him dying.
Aww.
Was anybody, speaking of Jimmy, was anybody slightly made uncomfortable by his black preacher speech? And like, I mean, not so much the speech, but the voice he was doing.
I was trying to figure out if it was a reference to something that I didn't know.
I think he was just doing a generic, Southern Baptist black church leader.
Yeah, it was a little weird. It could have been way worse, though. It mostly was like, it was more southern than like.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Black.
There's really not a big difference between like just a Baptist church and like they're all kind of like that. But that said, Jake, it was the 90s. No one cared about black people's feelings yet.
That's fair.
Obviously that's not my opinion. It's just
like when he started doing it, I was waiting for it to get way worse. So I think I was mostly just like, all right, it considering its age, I was braced for worse. I guess
I give it a pass because it was like the 90s, but I was like, ooh, I don't know if they'd have a white character doing this today.
Depends.
Unless it were like in parody or as a statement of this guy is a dick.
Like Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder, right? Whereas like especially like the whole point of it was a white guy, pastiching a black person.
But still, a point they definitely should not have made. I couldn't watch that movie because of that. I was so fucking uncomfortable. Which I know makes me sound like such a snowflake. Go ahead.
Uncomfortable is there's this clip, which I don't think I've mentioned on the air before, but I may have mentioned before to you guys, is Harry Connick Jr. as a judge on the Australian Gong Show, which still exists. Or at least it did this century. And a group came out and did a Jackson 5 bit in blackface.
Oh, nice.
And, like, the Australian judges and the host, they're all dancing and enjoying themselves. And you just see Harry Connick Jr.'s face fucking fall. And he looks horrified. And he gives him the gong. And, like, there's like, whoa, what's wrong? He's like, what? And the comments underneath are just all these Australians being like, oh, he just doesn't get it.
Oh, yeah. Australia. Did Australia understand? What was happening in Australia during this time?
I mean,
they love blackface.
This was sometime like within the last
they do.
10 or 20 years, too. This wasn't like, it was like, wow, Australia. Like, I was going to give you credit for selling the Gong Show, but you just lost all of it.
Wow. Anyway, you were doing alternate casting.
Yeah, I have one more.
Sidetracked us.
No, that's perfect. No, it's good because this segues nicely because this is another controversial thinger that in today time we'd be like, oh God, Independence Day. But because the role of President Whitmore was written for Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
Ooh.
And was meant to be more of a Richard Nixon style character.
Well,
honestly, okay, taking away everything we know about Spacey today.
He is a very good actor, that son of a bitch.
He's a phenomenal actor.
Oh, yeah, he's
and
great.
Like, I could actually, and like, if they had played that role more darker as like a Nixon, I could like.
You wouldn't think Connie would go for him though.
No, and also I can see that, we eventually did see Kevin Spacey as a
spaceman,
a Nixon-esque president in House of Cards.
Yeah. He does play that well.
He was quite good. He did a good job, but also fuck Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
I will still watch Moon. Moon is so good.
I will say though, I don't think. I mean, unless this wasn't part of it until after they cast Pullman, I would not have believed Kevin Spacey jumping in a jet.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the character would have been vastly different than what I feel like the script itself would have had to be vastly different if he were the president, especially playing it as sort of a
Nixonian,
a darker.
Like, I kind of wonder if like maybe some of that sleaziness was transferred over to the Secretary of Defense.
Oh yeah,
that makes
sense. Guy. Oh, and he's a that guy too. Did we already talk about him being a that guy?
Yeah, he's a
and like
that guy.
Him I honestly did not understand.
No.
Why we were supposed to hate that man so much.
Because
like,
he didn't tell us about Area 51. Wah.
I mean, here's the thing.
Other than just the fact that like they had that actor who he's like that fucking guy, I can't remember his name, the sniveling piece of shit in
Lord
RoboCop.
Brain, Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah, there you go. Where it's just like he only plays sniveling pieces of shit.
He's so good at it.
He's so good. He's got the face. He's got the acting. He's good as a sniveling piece of shit. And I feel like this actor is in that same school of sniveling piece of shit.
Yeah, this is James Rebhorn, my notes say.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't. I think other than the fact that he was played by that character, I really don't get like he didn't do anything particularly.
No, didn't
bad.
he also like make some decisions? Like, didn't they show him being like, all right, we're going to DEFCON 3, and like Jeff Goldblum's wife is like, that's a little premature without the president's, okay. Like, I think he was just, I think he was
the president had
overstepping.
just said we should go to DEFCON 3, and then he says we'll go to DEFCON 3, and then she jumps down his throat saying, the president didn't say that!
Well, I think the implication of that scene is that, like, Whitmore, because they already established the idea that maybe he's a bit wishy-washy, Whitmore, and, like, basically just, this guy has been making a lot of decisions based on, like...
Yeah, he's the evil vizier, like, pulling some strings.
But also, I will say...
He's the Malcolm Reed, advocating blowing shit up.
Yeah, but I will say, I think the idea with him was, like, the minute the aliens showed up, he should have been like, Mr. President, so we do actually know a little bit about these guys, but he still stayed mum, and that is stupid. Like, asshole, the minute these appeared, you should have been like, oh boy. Okay, keeping this secret from him...
That's the one thing.
That
but, like,
might have saved lives.
But you know
everything else seems fairly reasonable.
Yes, but that one fuck-up was a big... Like, you are at the point where your security, like, your secrecy... goes out the... it's like I said before about Star Trek, because we're normally a Star Trek podcast, folks, if somehow you just stumbled across this. I'm always annoyed when they're like, oh no, the Prime Directive, when they're at a planet where the Prime Directive was already fucked by someone else. It's like, guys, throw that out the window. It's time to undo the damage as best you can. This is a similar thing. He's like, well, this is all top secret. Oh, the aliens are here. I guess that bandage has been ripped off.
Yeah, really. If we're all dead, nobody can tell the secrets, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe time to not worry about it.
I also just don't... It is... Okay. So, obviously, in this universe, Area 51 is a real... I mean, Area 51 is a real place in the real life, in case you didn't know. But it's just a secret, a top secret military base. There's no evidence that there's aliens there.
No, what's most likely they've done there is there's probably been a lot of, like, experimental aircraft built there by us.
How many Stargates?
2.5.
Yeah, we know it's where they store the Ark of the Covenant.
Yes, that too. And nuclear-proof fridges.
Which I think we only know that. Yeah, it's only because of Crystal Skull, right? Because it's not established until Crystal Skull that the warehouse is Area 51.
Yeah, another unnecessary thing from that fucking unnecessary movie.
What movie? You keep saying words and I can't hear them. It's almost like...
It's a fan film that somebody made about...
Seriously.
I don't think anybody that could claim...
It's George Lucas and Steven Spielberg's fan flick that they made about their other films.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone could claim to like the series and then make that film.
They like money better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that I buy.
I have an interesting note.
It's got George Lucas written all over it. Crystal Skull. It's George Lucas had one good idea. Actually, he had a couple good ideas.
Hire his wife.
Star Wars 1, 2, and 3.
Hiring his good ideas was coming up with the idea for Star Wars, coming up with the idea for Indiana
befriending
Jones,
Harrison Ford,
and then hiring
marriage,
other people
apparently.
to create it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Once he was like, I'm going to start writing films and writing scripts, that's where it all fell apart.
Yeah.
Cool. Here's my note about Area 51. In that originally they were going to use U.S. military personnel, vehicles, and costumes for the film. Mm-hmm. But the U.S. military backed the fuck out when they refused to remove all the Area 51 references.
Whoop.
That was already pop culture. Who cares, you weird fuckers?
And that's also really interesting because going back to Stargate, as things often do.
Yay!
Stargate SG-1 famously... because it's about the Air Force, right? So all the Stargate, in case you didn't know, the Stargate program is a program of the U.S. Air Force, and all the characters are Air Force.
No, I didn't know that.
Officers. So famously, the Air Force so much loved like how good of a light Stargate was shining on them because everyone is so competent.
So competent and so
they're super competent,
moral too.
Like the Air Force was like, yeah, we support this, and like there's a cameo by a real like the Air Force Chief of Staff in one of the episodes. They go to the Air Force Academy and film on site,
so
and
weird.
But also in Stargate SG-1, Area 51 plays prominently in the show, as does like secret military base, at Cheyenne Mountain where they have the Stargate program and all this.
That's like, why, it's not like this movie popularized the idea of Area 51. That was already just a thing. That was one of the also weird things about the film, was it was acting like people didn't know about Area, like, Randy Quaid's character...
that doesn't exist.
Yeah, when it's like, there ain't a thing on the map, Randy Quaid's character knows about Area 51. He reads his zines and...
So maybe he doesn't know where it is.
Well, no, but he knows...
Well, he was taken by aliens. Maybe he does.
So that's actually something that didn't occur to me until watching this again as an adult. And I think it's actually kind of interesting.
Was he really taken by aliens?
Yeah, the film doesn't actually say either way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he actually might have just had the PTSD from Nam and shit, and it just happens that, alien... Like, and I kind of like that. It's like, because when I was a kid, it's like, yeah, of course, these guys must have kidnapped him. But now as an adult, it's like, oh no, he might just be nuts. He just happened to be right, but he was never actually abducted and shit.
It is funny that you don't really know one way or the other.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's I appreciate that they didn't make it explicit.
Though he did say, like, boys, I'm home or something.
I'm back, yeah. But again, that's as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, no, I know.
They didn't cut to an alien going like, oh no, it's that guy.
Is it you, Billy? I also he was my other favorite character. I loved him. I felt bad for him. He was an embarrassment to his children.
Got it together in the end.
And then the kid, what were they, like, out of takes? You should be proud of him. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, as I say, it was a little weird. Also, like,
was he supposed to be trying to sound tearful, or
Adam Baldwin's character,
shocked?
Like, it feels so patronizing the way he says it too.
Oh my God.
Because like everyone's partying, like, yeah, we killed the aliens. And then he notices that the kid is upset because his dad just exploded.
And he's like, oh, this fucking pussy.
And then he's like, okay, I guess you should be proud of your dad. He was very brave.
Well, anyway, though, that, like,
fuck you, Jane.
Here's the thing.
He's super sarcastic.
It kind of sucks, but it's also like, I could see that. Like, he's the guy who, like, is the military head of Area 51. Probably isn't great at social niceties, and he, like everyone else, just wants to be like, we just fucking did it! And he's like, oh, right, I am the one person in the room that realizes the implication of this.
Yeah, he's super out of his element. Like when freaking Connie asks, so are we gonna save any of the people that are camped outside? And he's like, oh yeah, other people!
What I appreciate was that, though, he wasn't like, no, he was just like, oh, fuck, I didn't think of that, quick.
Yeah.
It's also better than fucking Robert Loggia telling Will Smith that the base was kerploded, because he's just like, what, no one told you? Oh yeah, blew up. Bye. And he like walks away. Like, Bob, Jesus.
So something that maybe someone can explain to me, why is it made such a big deal, and like, why are they using old Morse code to communicate with the other,
because the satellites
nations
are down.
Yeah, because the aliens have
gotta be
because I don't understand, like, it still has to. Morse code isn't like some magic thing.
Oh, you mean like, why were they all able to read the in English Morse code?
Or no, I mean, like, why couldn't they just, so theoretically anyway, the Morse code is being broadcast out over,
because audiences will understand that Morse code is an old thing.
But why
can't
it just be a voice? Why can't they just call them up and say, "Hey, we're gonna do that"? Like, it's
because probably the phones aren't working, right? I mean,
no, but they can still use like radio. Still works. Like, they're using radio to broadcast the Morse code. Radio can also be used for voice.
Well, maybe they know the aliens don't know Morse code.
I'm sure the aliens know Morse code. They know enough about us to, like, not only target our population centers, which would make sense, so like New York, Los Angeles,
and specific buildings,
but also that the White House is the place where we need to go, because, like,
I feel like they should have done the Capitol.
I feel like the Capitol too, but I did like the explosion of the Capitol.
That looked great. Everything looked great.
Yeah, it's a very visually stunning.
Is Morse code still sent via, like, hard line, maybe?
That's what I was wondering,
It wouldn't be sent to
the middle East,
middle of the desert in the Middle East, you know, like it still has to be wireless.
Well, again,
it's probably like shortwave radio,
maybe,
or like ham radio or something.
Maybe it's still like, because I know a lot of radio transmission is done like before we had fucking satellites. They literally just bounced signals off I want to say the ionosphere. Like they literally
Yeah.
bounce shit off the atmosphere.
Well, you can still do that. So the amateur radio community, ham radio people, like that's still a thing. Is like you can get broadcasts beyond the range of the horizon, right? Because it's obviously line of sight. So just like what Jeff Goldblum was saying to the president, at the
line of sight, and he figures it out.
Like you can't actually broadcast radio beyond the horizon unless you can bounce it off the atmosphere. But you still couldn't get it from Nevada to Japan, for example, because that's just too damn beyond the horizon. So I feel like there has to be some kind of repeater or something that's in play.
I mean, we do have...
Maybe that's what they have, is just like ground-based repeaters.
Well, if you imagine, we probably still have a lot of minor bases all over the world the aliens haven't gotten to yet. So maybe they they morsed over to Hawaii, who morsed over to Guam, who bounced it over to Japan.
Well, they did show a whole lot of people Morse coding, so I feel like the message got sent to everywhere. It was
so I'm not sure. Yeah. Not sure why it had to be Morse code. Again, that just felt like, man, again, it's like Star Trek. Morse code always pops up at some point.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess the thing about the probably, all right, I'm going to reverse my stance and be like, yeah, it does probably make sense they're using Morse code, because one thing about Morse code is that, like, the bandwidth requirement is really low, because it's just like, it just needs to be either on or off. Yeah. Whereas with voice, there's all kinds of other stuff. So when you have a potentially low signal power, and you're kind of relying on old technology, maybe it does make more sense to use Morse code.
And maybe that would make it harder for them to detect if they were sending a message. You know how in Star Trek they always know when they're sending messages to people and shit?
Well, yeah, there's no way the aliens didn't pick up on that. Like, that's a plot hole that, like, the aliens totally would have been listening to their broadcasts.
They apparently did, because, like, they do change course of one of their fucking UFOs to go to Area 51.
They go to Area 51, that's
so
right.
Like,
yeah, because otherwise, why would they?
Yeah, like, they know...
That's true,
even if they don't know exactly
Well, maybe they wanted to get their friend out.
Well,
don't know. Oh, that's true. Maybe he used his brain powers.
But no, I think it's more likely the idea was that even if they don't know what was being transmitted, they saw a lot of transmissions going from this one place, and they're like, well, this is a problem. Putt, putt, putt,
that's
putt,
a good
putt,
point.
putt, putt.
I actually was waiting for it to be that they were coming back for that alien, and that's why they like being all crazy.
Another thing that's always kind of bugged me about this is that glass bulletproof? Yes, of course it's fucking bulletproof. It's the room where we do the alien fucking work.
Well, apparently it isn't.
I mean, like, why isn't it? And, like, I mean, it's good that it wasn't in this case, but...
plot convenience.
Yeah.
Because Adam Baldwin loves shooting things. That's why.
Yeah.
Really, what they should have had is, like a built-in incinerator in that room, or just like...
Wasn't that what the assistant was going to press a button to do or something? But he was like...
I think he was pressing the button to open the door, because he was a bitch and wanted to get the fuck out of there.
How dare he want to not be murdered?
That's what I assumed.
Shit. I assumed it was like a failsafe.
What a bitch. Self-preservation? Loser.
Well, no, but here's the thing. It's like, if you open the door... The alien gets out. Get out.
That's
sure.
So it's like,
and maybe he'll find someone slower than you. It's fine.
No, he knows Adam Baldwin is out there with all the guns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I must admit, I read this scene the entire other way because I didn't realize what that button was. I thought it was a incinerate this room like failsafe button.
I thought that too for a minute, but then they showed him like at the door.
Okay.
So maybe you could be right.
I think yours is more likely, but mine came with the, do I really want to kill myself in this to save the day? Maybe I'll be okay. Oh no, I'm getting killed by this thing.
Yeah. Oh, something else I noticed, right? So here's some irony. So the aliens come to Earth to annihilate humanity and take over and use all of Earth's resources.
Team aliens, go those guys.
And yeah, when Bill Pullman's character is getting brain fucked by the alien, he sees their whole plan and that they're like locusts and that they go from planet to planet and use up all the resources and yada yada yada. But he mentions that it's their whole civilization. So when we blow up the alien mothership, we're not just blowing up their ship. We're wiping them out as a species because
and yet there's
their
a sequel
entire
to this movie.
Yeah, the less said about the sequel, because that directly contradicts this, and it's dumb.
Yeah,
One day we'll cover it. One day.
Ugh.
So we pulled the old Uno reverse. They were going to wipe us out. We got you.
Yeah.
We got you.
Well, and we don't know how many civilizations they've done this to already.
Yeah,
probably.
True. And we also don't know
many.
if there's like. He says it's their entire civilization, but a civilization doesn't necessarily mean a species. Like there could be another, like a home world with.
But also,
I don't know.
Here's the thing, because I had this thought too, and it comes to an issue I always think about, like, how do you compromise with someone whose position is you don't deserve to exist? There's no compromise version of that, you know? It's like either you think someone deserves to exist or you don't. And so, like,
you give them toys.
for all that,
pay
like,
them off.
you want to be, well, that's, and he tries. He's like, look, can we have some kind of peace? Maybe they're like, nope. And it's like, all right, well, then we tried. You know, it's like there is a point where you can't be Star Trek anymore and you have to fire phasers.
Yeah, I did like that Pullman tried to go the Star Trek route a couple of different times. Like early in the movie, like the line I wrote down was, I don't want to add a public hysteria that will cost lives.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, Whitmore 2024, I'm voting for this guy.
Seriously.
And then he tries to compromise with the alien when he knows, like, they just blew up a lot of, like, huge population centers on Earth.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a way, and he tries for a hot second, because, you know, that's the Star Trek diplomatic thing to do. Picard is there clapping his hands. And, you know, that's not going to work that way, buddy. Nuke them. Nuke the bastards.
I will say, I feel like Bill Pullman's position there is a little more like, not so much, you know, I feel like it's Picard with Kevin Uxbridge, you know, where it's like, we have no law to fit your crime. It's like, yeah, also Jean-Luc, honestly, try and stop this guy. He's a literal god. I feel like Pullman here is more like, okay, we obviously can't beat you, but come on, let's be friends.
So here's the thing. So I'm glad I was going to mention Kevin Uxbridge in a different context.
Really?
And that's that in this film, this is kind of where I was going with that.
Oh.
Jeff Goldblum is Kevin Uxbridge because
the
aliens are the Who Snack.
Yeah.
Because they attack, they start wiping us out. Jeff Goldblum's like, fuck it, I'm destroying all of them everywhere. And he does.
I wonder, did anyone tell him that? Because I don't think he was in the room when Whitmore got mind blasted and was like, their whole like, he gets back to Earth and it's like, well, we did it. Hopefully there's not more of them. And Bill Pullman's like, oh, no, we just committed genocide. Sorry, what?
Yeah. Well, so here's the other thing that has bugged me about this movie is that, okay, the ships explode. They conveniently don't just fall straight down. They go off to the side so they don't destroy what's ever underneath them.
Yeah.
Because that would have been awkward. Yay, we've destroyed the aliens. Oh, God, we're buried under a fucking gigantic alien ship. We'll never get out of this base.
Start digging, boys.
Are we to believe that every alien on all of these city-sized ships across the world is also dead? Or are we just going to have a lot of fucking, you know, aliens now that crawl out of the wreckages of these ships?
So the ship blew. I mean, okay, the Randy Quaid destroying the ship, that thing blew up utterly, and there was fire coming out of every seam. So I would assume that everything inside that ship is dead. Did every other ship blow up that utterly, or did they just fall down?
They all looked pretty well destroyed, or they looked on par with how the Area 51 ship looked.
If anyone survived, maybe it was like the aliens that went out in their individual pods.
In their little fighters.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, like, we don't really know, like, they're enormous, but we don't know how much of that is just the, like, weapon itself. Like, while the door for the beam is quite small, for all we know, it's mostly a power generator. A couple of, like, a couple of bridge crew and then a shitload of fighter pilots. So there may not be as many aliens on those as, like, you know, on the mothership we see those, like, landers that are going around and, like, the aliens loading up onto them. But actually, interestingly, I don't remember if I mentioned this on air or afterwards last week, but I did read an Independence Day novel as a teenager, which was all about the background of Brent Spiner's character.
Yay!
And how he got involved in all this
In world
stuff.
or out of world?
In world.
Cool.
Yeah, like it was a fiction set in the universe, and it's about how he sort of found out about this and got involved. But it actually starts like sometime after the film. There's like a prologue set afterwards before it jumps to being a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the thing they're dealing with is like sending cleanup crews into the wreckages where surviving aliens have set up little forts and shit.
Oh, that's cool.
So they did, at least whoever wrote that novel did consider that, yeah, people might have lived. That's another sort of macabre thing, though, is at the end, didn't I promise you fireworks? There's all that shit, and it's like, yeah, that's the remnants of the alien mothership crashing to Earth. Like, that's millions
gonna take out more
billions
places
of alien corpses burning up in the atmosphere. Hooray! Which, again, they are deeply bad and evil, so it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
I kind of never occurred to me, though, like, I like, for all that, you know, Jeff Goldblum is the obvious sort of environmentalist character, there's obviously also an environmentalist thing with the aliens. Like, we don't know how many times they've done this, but either way, they have never learned to not just consume. Like, this is just how they live now. They just consume. It never occurs to them, maybe we should change our ways and try to create a system that is sustaining.
You're assuming the aliens are a monolith.
They missed the opportunity to draw a societal parallel between...
Well, I don't think they missed an opportunity. I think it was just very subtle, and I never noticed as a child. But also, yes, I am assuming they're a monolith based on... I'm assuming that what Pullman is saying about it being their whole civilization is true. And that, like, yeah, maybe there are aliens within the society being like, maybe we shouldn't do this, guys, but clearly they have been overruled repeatedly, killed, and eaten. Because all they do have
this kind of telepathy. Wow, my brain didn't say that right. Telepathy. Nope, still wrong. Telepathy. There it is.
Got it.
Thing. And a little like Ender's Gamey, in which maybe they all kind of like share the same mind and thoughts that way, and that way they are all up an actual monolith, which... Maybe
they are.
You know, cool. I do kind of want to see the one environmentalist alien who's just like, no, you put your soda cans in the recycling. I'm gonna bike all the way to DC.
They're like, Alien Jeff, what recycling? Also, your spindly legs will not do well with a bicycle.
Aw, I love their spindly legs. They look real cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently the alien designer, Patrick Tatopoulos, he made 2 different alien designs, and they liked both of them so much that they decided one of them just goes inside the other.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So that's why they have that kind of biogenic soldier armor thing around their normal alien bodies.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is very cool.
Yeah, of course they have a spacesuit, why not? But I like that it's because they couldn't pick a version.
Yeah, they liked both, and they decided also, like, we specifically want to construct them in a way that it's clear we didn't just dress a human up like an alien. We want you to see, like, this is not a human.
Yeah. I know Brent Spiner says that it's like a spacesuit, but I also was thinking, when they take it apart, it really seems more like an exoskeleton to me, like a lobster, because if they occasionally molt and come out of them, and then they're the little wimpy aliens.
Is this Zoidberg?
But then they show them out of their suits on the ship, and that goes away. But like, for a spacesuit, why did it have so much like sinewy tissue inside of it?
Because it's a bio space
mechanical
suit.
Yeah,
I guess so.
That's sci-fi shorthand for advanced in a way we don't quite get for some reason. Like, I feel like biomechanical is always the, like, like the bad guys in Mass Effect are biomechanical. The unknowably advanced spaceship in Lex is biomechanical.
Data is biomechanical.
True. That's why other people aren't as good at making androids. They can't make that leap that Sung made, which, by the way, it was really hard not to just look at Oaken and think this is just a Sung.
I loved it. He's so good at the mad scientist.
Yeah. I
did read that his character's appearance and verbal style are based on the visual effects supervisor, Jeffrey Okun from Stargate.
Oh.
So Emmerich knew this guy and said, My friend Jeffrey is so weird, I want to make a mad scientist character out of him. Who can play him? Spiner.
Oh, speaking of which, I have a question. So there was a background actor that they kept showing like they took every opportunity to show him during the he was one of the other pilots. He was like had a beard and he was wearing aviators and like a trucker hat.
I noticed him too.
And they kept showing this guy in like every shot where there was a group of the pilots.
Yeah.
Like he was front and center. They showed him in his cockpit several times. And I was wondering, like, who, like, is he some,
Like
is he
sci-fi
like some
royalty?
Or like some, person that worked on the movie as a cameo or something? Like,
I kind of wondered that myself. Because, I noticed him a lot. Like, he was very prominently featured.
You know what that was? That was the alien's informant that they had on the inside. That's what I kept showing him. I was kind of waiting for the Secretary of Defense to be in league with them. Possibly fucking one of them a la Doctor Who with Donna's husband or would-be husband and the Queen Spider.
Or Tony Shalhoub in Galaxy Quest.
Well, Tony Shalhoub is definitely dating one of those aliens. I saw a lot of tentacles. This is clearly the same. Okay, perfect. Now I have headcanon for 2 films. This is definitely the same people as we meet in Galaxy Quest. And after completing his term as president, Bill Pullman retires to become a ghost hunter and makes Casper because his wife is also dead in that film, and he has a little Goyle, and it's Bill Pullman. So
there you go.
That's it.
Okay. Signs how you could tell this movie is from the 90s.
Oh God,
the REM song.
The entire cast.
Well, number 1, at the end of the movie, the heroes are smoking. And one of them says, I could get used to this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have happened in a movie. And then number 2, Will Smith gives a 7-year-old a bag of fireworks. And says, well, we'll play with these later.
Yep. But yeah, some of the hair and clothes were very 90s.
Yeah, lots of smoking.
Yeah.
So although honestly, just the fact that Jeff Goldblum was being so fucking insane about recycling is also very 90s.
Yeah, too insane about it.
Well, I feel like they were making fun of like tree hugger culture, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely they were.
Being like, oh look, he's so concerned about recycling a aluminum can that but look at the aliens.
Well, if anything,
this guy acts like there's like a whole island continent of fucking trash in the ocean. What a nerd.
No, we were only starting to build it then.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Like, in a way, like, I don't know that it's necessarily, like, I feel like what it was is in 96, it was still kind of, people giving a fuck about the environment was still new enough that it was kind of often played for laughs. But in the end, like I said, he's not necessarily shown to be wrong, like, again, the aliens are just pure consumerism. And there's even the moment where he's drunk off his ass with his father being like, I tried so hard and now, maybe we should just fuck up the planet worse and they'll go away. And his father's like, come on now, don't be down on yourself. And so I think
I tried so hard and
got so far.
Exactly.
I think at the end it was kind of like, not necessarily like, yeah, other people were making fun of him, but he's actually not wrong is kind of the point in a way. Oh, also that reminds me of something that I said to Caitlin. I forgot that the solution to the film comes in a Murder, She Wrote style epiphany moment.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
God.
often in Murder, She Wrote, someone says something offhand and she's like, smacks her forehead and figures it all out. And
yeah. I don't want you to get sick. Wait a minute. Get sick.
And then solution, which, if you've, not read, like, and this didn't even occur to me on my own, but like that is apparently, I assume, intentional sort of nod to War of the Worlds.
Oh, really?
Okay, explain.
Insofar that he uses
I love the moment where you pause to see if the rest of us understand what you're talking about. No, okay, I'll explain now.
Just in case, because often one of us will say something and then everyone will be like, oh yeah, like this. So I'm just giving it a minute, but nothing happened, so I can go on.
Yeah, and Chris edits this show, so.
True.
Does he?
Oh, come on. Yes, he does. He works very hard.
He leaves in any of the moments where the rest of us sound like morons, which is great.
How many moments I leave in?
He sounds like Einstein, and we sound like idiots.
I was gonna say, I leave in plenty of me sounding like a fucking
Fair
idiot.
enough, that's true. You do that too. Any of us can sound like morons.
You believe me, there is some shit I have
do.
cut. I have made you people sound good. The hell was I saying? Oh yeah. So, and again, this is something I realized. The internet pointed it out to me, but like he uses a computer virus, and of course, at the end of the day, like in War of the Worlds, humanity doesn't actually defeat the Martians. They get colds. Their immune system isn't ready for Earth diseases, and that wipes them out. So the sort of the computer virus is the like techno cold. Although, again, it is more directly given to them by humanity, whereas in War of the Worlds, we're literally only saved by nature, not our own devices.
Which is crazy, because you would think at this point, nature would be like, you know what, actually, it is time for aliens.
No, but see, nature knows these aliens.
That's what Phlox would say.
These aliens are actually worse than the people, so...
Are they? I mean, you're basing that on us knowing them for less than 24 hours.
Look, they told Bill Pullman they are locusts. I am taking
locusts
Bill Pullman.
need to live too.
I was gonna say, remember that meme that I shared that you thought was good, where it's like, give locusts a break. They make a lot of noise, but they're harmless, and they just want to get out here and eat and fuck until they die.
Oh, for the
exhaustion.
cicada invasion. Yeah.
Yeah, but locusts don't eat everything.
They would if they could.
There.
Yeah.
Well, they're also not as terrifying as the aliens with their space lasers.
Well,
I
that's
feel
true.
like these aliens are missing an opportunity to enslave the human race because
really?
Just blowing them up.
But again, that suggests they want to try to maintain, and that's not their shtick. Their shtick is they consume.
Well, they could also eat the humans.
True.
Why aren't they
Could
eating
farm
the humans?
them.
Maybe when
Why are
they
we blowing them up.
Maybe when
This delicious human.
When they land, they eat the ones they didn't blow up.
What do they eat? Do we learn what they eat?
They don't have mouths, so I'm not sure.
I'll tell you what they eat. Ass. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't really know. I'm sure the pointless...
I'm pretty sure I'm right, though.
I bet the pointless sequel gets into it.
Neat. I have 2 unrelated plane notes.
Go for it.
So as I said, like, this movie has the most fucking models of any movie in existence, such that any of the planes that you see when they're flying are models except for the biplane when it's crop dusting. That's the only actual flying plane we see.
Neat.
No shit.
And also, there was an original ending, which, oh boy, they originally wanted Randy Quaid's character to not be part of the assault team, which would make sense to me because he's clearly insane and fucking Adam Baldwin should know better. But that he would just join in at the very end when they needed one last thing in his biplane.
Yeah, I feel like this was filmed, wasn't it? Because I feel like I've heard that before or I've seen it. I might be imagining that I've seen it.
Oh, I don't know if it was filmed. If it's filmed, we should find it because that does sound fun.
I might be making that up but something feels like I feel like I've seen an alternate ending to this movie that was like that, but I don't know.
It could be one of those things because this story's gone around for a while. You could have just imagined you've seen it.
Yeah,
because
it could just be
it just seems so right.
My
but
brain
also,
just constructed it.
I kind of like.
Or it might have been an extra in one of the early DVD versions. You know.
I do kind of like they gave him a semi-redemption arc though. Like he kind of gets together just enough.
I didn't need the scene where he almost accidentally fires a missile in the hangar.
That
was silly.
I feel like at that point we were in serious mode and we didn't need that. I will say too though, I do like a little moment from Adam Baldwin when they're like, "Doesn't anyone have any missiles?" And Randy Quaid pipes up, and you can see on Adam Baldwin's face he realizes who it is. Like there's this little subtle expression of, "Fuck that one, no."
Jake is sending us a link.
No, yeah, it actually exists.
It was filmed. Okay.
It was filmed and...
Well, shit, we'll have to share that on the Facebook.
Yeah, I don't intend to watch it right now, but I'll watch it later.
Yeah, I feel like...
The thing is, a biplane, it could not fly. It could not fly straight up like this. It would stall. I think, I don't even know, I don't know enough about jet fighters to say, but I would assume that they would also have stalled out going straight up.
Maybe.
They're not rockets.
Well,
but
maybe
whatever.
When the laser's charging like that, it creates a something field that wibblies the woobly and balloon.
Can you
and
just
something
be
bad
doing
happens.
like loop-de-loops over and over again until you go higher in the air? Ah?
Yeah. I don't think that works. I think
But
that's
also-
why you top out in a loop-de-loop is because you stall and you
I think so, yeah.
go back down to pick up speed and get more air over the wings.
But also, like, the fact that he goes in with the jet, like, he still has a missile in the jet. It couldn't launch, but it was there. So he still has an explosive payload. Whereas with the biplane, it just would have been whatever gas was left in it. And it's like, Like, I definitely like the way they went.
Maybe he's just
also-
holding on to a missile.
Although it is pretty unrealistic that a drunk that's been flying a biplane for 30 years is competent to fly a modern jet.
He had a pep talk from Adam Baldwin. They're fine.
Yeah, I don't know if you can learn to fly one of these things.
Hey,
like,
Captain Will Smith was able to fly an alien ship by just having looked at it once.
I was
Even
just
though
going to say
someone
that.
put the thing in wrong.
I was literally just going to say that, Ames. Good.
And how many times has Mayweather managed to fly weird alien shit with like a 20-minute pep talk from Trip?
Well, more frequently than he's gotten a line in the fucking show.
True.
Not even a yes captain. They just throw him into the ship and he figures it out.
Any question that starts with how many times did Mayweather blank, the answer is maybe once.
Oh boy.
Yes, citation needed.
Yeah. When any question that starts with how many times has Mayweather done blank, the answer is who?
Yes, perfect.
But yeah, I also feel like him just showing up in his biplane also, I think, would have... Because like I said, at this point, we're in serious mode. So I think he needs to be in a jet like everyone else. A biplane is just too comical. Even if it's being... Especially, like, it just would have been too weird. Like, I get it, but I'm glad they didn't in the long run.
My final note that I found on, like, IMDb or whatever is that the final "Today we celebrate our Independence Day" like button on the Pullman speech, which he delivers so damn well.
He does.
Yeah.
Was added right before filming that scene.
Wow.
Originally, it was going to taper off or something like that because I guess the producers weren't going to let them title the film Independence Day.
Oh.
Because there was another movie from like decades ago also called Independence Day, and they're like, there's already one like that, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then they add it to the scene to be like, but now it works. And a couple of weeks later, they did end up, renaming the scene, or renaming the movie as we know that it is called Independence Day. So here's my list of alternate titles.
Oh, I bet they're all bad.
Well, also, before you start that, though, I want to point out that I feel like when this movie came out, I remember most of the marketing called it ID4. Does anybody remember this?
They did call it ID4.
It said that on Hulu. It said like Independence Day ID4. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was kind of like their Blue Harvest kind of thing of
But it was actually used in a lot of the marketing.
On the posters, they were really big on it.
Which is a terrible title, because you don't even know what the fuck it's supposed to stand for.
It's very stupid.
Terrible title. But the other titles that I had written down, Invasion.
Terrible.
Sky on Fire. Doomsday.
No.
And The End of the World.
I swear they purposely came up with bad titles to force the studio to let them use Independence Day.
Maybe.
That's all so bad.
I actually, though, speaking of the Independence Day speech, as much as it was pretty, I thought it could have been so much worse. Like, I expected that to be way more patriotic jerking off.
Hurrah.
Yeah, it was way less wanky than I thought it was.
Oh, don't worry. Other countries still think it's too wanky. Like the BBC
of course
quote.
they do, but like, and of course, because that's how this is just how we are. Like, most people don't do that pledge allegiance to the flag nonsense because it's crazy. But like, I feel like, and I feel, actually, it might have even been John Oliver. It was definitely one of the late night types who like pointed out recently that like, you used to see the flag and you would feel like, wow, patriotism, what a great country. And now you see the stars and stripes and your mind immediately goes to a certain group of people who you probably don't want to be president.
Nope.
Or in any other form of government. And this movie obviously was before, that whatever it was that happened in 2016 that changed politics forever hadn't yet happened in 1996. And,
those were good years.
It actually gave me a little like proud to be an American moment. I was like, yeah, good for us. We stopped the aliens. And then I'm like, oh wait, that was fake and real America's horrible.
It also shows like how bad jingoism has gotten here that we look at that speech now and go, That could have been a lot more nationalistic. Well done.
Well, in the day, here's the BBC quote that I wrote down.
Awesome.
They call it the most jaw-droppingly pompous soliloquy ever delivered in a mainstream Hollywood movie.
Okay, but they only said that because we made them out to be bitches who couldn't get anything done without us.
I was about to say, also, again, this is
Morse
funny.
code, you say?
Sour grapes much?
This is funny in the retrospect of the fact that, like, Britain seems to be in a race with us now to go, like, who can go the most right-wing and fascist the fastest as possible.
And then Holland showed up like a goddamn dark horse and blew everybody's doors off. No, wait, isn't it Holland? Isn't Holland the one that has that, like, super fascistic president?
Oh, I have no idea. If so,
Holland,
I missed that.
Really? That would surprise me if that's true. Is it Poland?
No, it's not Poland. It's one of...
Poland's been swinging pretty far right
No,
too.
it's not Poland, though. Hold on a minute. Trump...
Hungary? Hungary's pretty stupid.
Hungary. Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's probably right.
So basically,
sorry, Holland.
The world is losing its fucking mind is the short version.
Yeah, Brazil, the whole everyone wants to be a fascist now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
especially
the thing
me.
is we're seeing the fruit of the seeds we've sown though, because we fucked with South America and we fucked with the Middle East and it's all coming home and it's all our fucking own fault.
Well, and Britain.
That's why I'm saying Whitmore 2024.
The rest of Western Europe.
If Bill Coleman could come and save all of us from ourselves right about now, that would be perfect.
Yeah. I will say, though, there was another moment for the Independence Day speech, which I forgot that at first the mic doesn't work quite right. Like, he has to start a second time, and I'm like, it's Lur.
It's who?
Lur from the alien from Futurama who his microphone always fucks up when he goes to make a speech, and he has to rejigger it.
Oh.
But yeah, no, really, still fun, still holds up.
Yeah,
I was not sure.
Up. I'd say the one thing that at the beginning of the movie was like, oh boy, am I gonna lose track of who's who? Because there's 3 or 10 filming locations. We're trying to balance. Okay, this is what's happening in New York.
Yep.
This is what's happening in DC. This is what's happening in LA. They're all gonna converge in Utah
Nevada.
In Nevada. And then just there was a point where everything's exploding. There's a lot of things going on, and suddenly we're on a submarine. I'm like, how many fucking locations are there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was it. And that's why, again, at the end of the day, thank God it's all very recognizable actors, because you didn't have to remember names. You just had to remember Jeff and Will and Bill and...
Oh, maybe that's why I remember Jasmine's name, actually, is because I didn't know that that was Vivica Fox. I was not really familiar with her work prior to this.
There we go.
I would say that my one big gripe with the movie is that it was about half an hour too long.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like as a piece of cinema, as a piece of film, it's garbage, right? It's not it's shallow
and pedantic,
but it is
just like this
extremely
meatloaf.
Fun.
Yeah,
I think that makes up for it. If you go into this movie expecting to have fun watching things explode and aliens get killed and everything, then you're going to have a great time.
Well, and it's also, to its credit, coherent action, which, I haven't seen a lot of modern action films, but everything I read about them is that they are getting increasingly incoherent. It's impossible to follow what's happening, because I think
it's all special effects now.
Yeah, and because it's all CG, so they're not constrained by reality. It's just Bayhem, is people say, Michael Bay used to do good action, but now it's impossible to tell what's going on even in his movies. So, that's this might be one of the last really, comprehensible action films.
I can't think of others from the time because I'm bad with chronology and dates, so...
Yeah, I mean, there were probably others still, but, within the last, let's say, 10 years at least, by all accounts, a lot of action movies have become completely unfollowable. So... it's got that going for it as well. It's a competently choreographed movie.
Yeah, I was never, and we know that I'm easily confused when it comes to plot, so I was never confused by what was happening.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that one's the Empire State Building. I know where we are right now. There's the Capitol. I know where we are right now. Here's some desert.
Yeah, there's Jeff Goldblum.
Nothing
there
else
he is.
matters.
Looking great.
There's Jeff Goldblum trying to sell me an apartment in New York.
Weird.
Not now.
I don't know. I think Hyde is the best delivery in this movie, and I love it to death.
Yeah. That's good.
I just love Jeff Goldblum.
He's great.
Again, I'm sure he's a turd in real life. I feel like you can't play the size of turd that he plays in some movies not to be. But watching him is a pleasure, and he's not too hard on the eyes. So, it does it for me.
He still looks great today. Damn.
Yeah, did you guys... Oh, yeah, did I share that with you?
You did. You put it on your Facebook.
Yeah, well, we'll have to share it.
On the page, yeah.
What was it?
I should have done that.
It was a comparison photo.
Celebrating... it's a picture of Jeff Goldblum then and now in Jurassic Park, and he is reenacting the open shirt laying back languorously look, but it was also his 67th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And the man is not aged.
Well, good for him. You know what has aged?
Fucking Enterprise. Brent Spiner a bit. We still love you though, Brent.
That's on the plus. We're getting back to Enterprise, but we're getting so much Brent Spiner.
Yay! At least one good thing's coming out of this shit.
And like continue... hot, well-dressed Brent Spiner, not obviously like. Did anyone else get the impression that Bill Pullman felt that Brent Spiner smelled bad? Because I feel like there was definitely some, you smell action in that scene.
I'm going to have to rewatch those scenes, because that does sound right.
Like, he definitely thought he was weird, but that's
no,
fair.
I think he literally smelled. But yeah, this film did Brent Spiner dirty, which Enterprise does not. He looks hot in his civvies.
Yeah, so, next week we're continuing on with the last two parts of the big Augment 3-parter. Where we will be covering Cold Station 12 and The Augments.
Good title.
Yeah, really creative guys, like Doomsday or The End of the World.
Yes.
They could have gone with The Augment Family.
Yeah. Hope the
I cannot do a snap.
Up. And we will be continuing our character spotlights as we look at BLT herself, B'Elanna Torres.
Looking fine.
BLT?
Fucking Max.
Fucking hate that guy.
Fuck that guy.
I hope she called him Big Max. Fucking twat. BLT.
Kicked him in his
shithead.
Anyway, so join us for that. Follow us on Facebook to be kept abreast of things and to see this clip of Randy Quaid in a
Randy Newman
in a biplane.
I wish.
And yeah, follow us on your favorite podcasting application. We're on the SoundCloud. This
and all the other ones.
Yeah.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This is always Jake.
Thank God they only made one of these.
Damn it, I didn't say it. I wrote
say
it
now.
Facebook
Say it now.
I didn't say it.
Say it now because you were just talking over me, so you can say it.
I thought it was really fucking irresponsible of fucking President Bill Pullman to never just use the Schwartz. You feel like that would have fixed everything.
Yay!
There we go.